And then let me do this because I forgot to. Because I had the table wedged in the corner. I didn't have my my computer set up, so I have to keep. As I was sorting comics, I kept having to, because it's just a laptop, move it away.
Yes.
And I have a surge protector here that I plug it into, and it has like the little on-off switch. So when I'm not using, I can shut it off. It's not, using power to charge the battery. But I forget because I've been moving it, and then about halfway through the shows, I'll get the alert that my computer's about to turn off because I forgot to turn it back on because I keep moving it. But so my battery's charging, so that's good. I ended up. Go ahead.
I got a big fancy one. Mm-hmm. It's like how like there's like the strip,
right?
I got the one that's like almost looks, it's like a plate because there's like 6 and 6 on each side, right?
Yeah.
And back in the days when the cats were allowed in the office before they start chewing through every goddamn cord that we have,
right?
They would invariably come in and just be patrolling around and step on the switch and turn everything off.
Right.
So I had to like tape that down. So like, unless I peel the tape off and whatever, that thing isn't getting hit, Yeah.
My I have it right here. It's a Surge Master, Joe. So it's the master of its surginess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have a couple things, and then I charge my phone while we're recording, so I have that all set to go. But
yeah. I have too much shit plugged in. And now I know, Todd, listen, you're a big wrestling guy. This always comes up invariably on the show.
Yeah, we had a big talk about it today with some people. So,
about doing it more often or not enough?
Oh, I don't know. I don't wrestle anymore or any less. So, but go ahead.
So this will be for the upcoming. I'm going to send this over to you.
How you sending it? So
I'm sending it in the Skype chat.
Okay,
would that be the way for you to look at a Twitter?
I could do that. Yes.
I'm not going to get into the full thing. That is or will be on At Odds this week.
Okay.
So I sent that over to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see that is the World Wrestling Entertainment's new independent development program.
Okay.
And do you see their logo there?
No, because I'm not signed into Twitter.
It's not showing you a picture. It's not showing you anything.
No, let me see it. No, it's because I'm on my browser and I'm not signed into X. It won't let me, so I'll have to sign into this.
Okay.
Or you could just send it to my phone.
I didn't send it to your phone.
I didn't know that I'd have to sign into X.
I didn't know that you couldn't look at a picture if you weren't signed into Twitter as someone who.
Right. It just says, well, I got to sign in. And every time I do it, I hit next instead, or, I'm like,
right. I'm texting this over to you. I need you say. It's a long way for a joke for one person, okay?
Okay, it's not my fault.
No, it's my fault. I have no one to blame but myself.
Oh, I got a text, Joe. Hold on one second. Oh, it's... So
you see their logo?
Yeah, that's a legendary logo right there, Joe.
Somebody texted that to me and said, has anyone made the legendary Wid joke yet? And I said, nope. Not yet, but I set it up so that you would get to be the one to do it.
You know what? I think in my heart, I'm the closest to all things Wid. So
yes.
Oh my God! I hope he sues and makes a shit ton of money.
Well, again, it's technically WWE ID, but sure.
I know. Who would sue WWE anyway? So he'd be the first. He'd be the first. Legendary Wid. He's the Al Davis is suing WWE. He'd be the only one who won. So
who would defend? Anyway, I was going to say who would defend World Wrestling Entertainment getting sued because it would be bad bad optics in the public.
Right.
Is that what they would say?
Sure.
Because of how good and loved World Wrestling Entertainment is today.
And yesterday and tomorrow. So.
Related but unrelated.
Right.
It's been a long time since I've sold anything on eBay. A very long time.
Oh my goodness.
So we're going through, the previews for previewing the past and everything else like that. 97 will be, I know I've said this before, but 97 will be officially wrapped up here shortly.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things where it was like, well, I could get 97 wrapped up, but we have one little tiny sliver that needs to be fit in for 95.
Right. Technically, we didn't have 95 wrapped up. So,
well, no, we have all of 95, don't we?
Except for the sliver.
Right, except for the sliver. So it was one of those things where it's like, well, I don't want to finalize 97 if we need to finalize 95.
Right.
Okay. So in doing so, I was going through what we have, and we end up having some doubles of some stuff, a couple, 2, 3 things. So I put them up on eBay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, the way that you do the listing process has changed. I'm sure it's changed a lot since the last time I've sold it. But it was one of those things where I learned, like, the secret behind the scenes of, like, when you put something up as a buy it now. And, obviously nobody's made an offer on anything yet for me to decline.
Right.
But you set it up of where if somebody puts in an offer of X, let's just say, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could set it up that like, no, any offer that comes in below this number automatically just gets kicked back as rejected as an offer.
Right. An immediate decline.
Immediately declines. Then once you have somebody watching the item longer than 24 hours, you get the notification from eBay saying, oh, do you want to send this person an offer of a lower price on the item? And I don't.
Okay.
So it's just interesting to see how the machinations of eBay work here as opposed to the last time that I sold stuff on eBay, which was probably like 5 or 6 years ago.
Right. Do you know how many times I've actually sold something on eBay myself?
Knowing you, it's not 0, but it's not like 1,000. So I'm going to guess like 1.
You should have bet the under. 0.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Yeah, personally 0. I've had the retailer, the bassist, I think even your co-host on At Odds sell stuff for me. But personally, post like a sale, I've never sold anything on eBay with my account.
Interesting.
But it's just I never had to, so.
Yeah, I've sold a lot. I've bought a lot. eBay's a good thing. Use it. We don't mention it on At Odds. Listen to me, Jesus Christ. After Dark. Right. But we have like an eBay affiliate link.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this weekend all the issues with the website are going to be fixed, or at least pointed in a direction, because Friday, not only is my official last day with my job, right. official, but it's also the date that I have in my calendar to go bother Studebaker in regards to the renewal for the hosting of the website.
Right. Should all go swimmingly.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll take sympathy and pity on me with my recent issue. Again, and this is something that I hate dwelling on, and we're just going to mention it once or twice in passing, and that'll be it. Again, thank you to everybody who reached out to me. Obviously it went out on At Odds, and each of these shows all have their different audiences, right?
Right, with like probably 3 crossover people, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say maybe more than 3, but less than 5, somewhere in there. But I had people reaching out to me thinking that it was a work, that I lost my job, that I was doing a bit. You
weren't sitting on a chair at Super Secret Science eating an apple. Then it would have been a work.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we haven't been to the office in quite some time. And I'm definitely having, and this is unrelated to any of this, but I'm definitely having issues today. Like, I'm hearing a dial tone.
That's not good.
No.
Do you smell burnt toast, too?
No, I don't smell burnt toast, but...
Okay.
I'm, like, super nervous that something's going on here. Like, I still haven't, obviously I couldn't send the old work computer back until after the 1st. And I'm like, is that, like, accidentally on or something? Or...
I don't hear anything on my end, so...
Okay.
So I think it's in your head.
It definitely is in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So how was your week? How's everything been? How's things going?
On a completely unrelated note to your job, I recently had some bad news. It's some terrible news. But our insurance guy agent is retiring at the end of the year.
Wait a minute.
So he's my father's age. Well, no, he's probably like 60 some because he's retiring. My father's 80, but he has been mine and my father's until my grandparents passed away. Our agent since 1980, whatever. I don't know the exact date because he says it's like 40 some years. And before that, his father was my grandfather's and grandmother's agent for like, I don't know, like since insurance was invented. So he's like an agency that's in Dunmore. So anytime, and friends of the family, and he literally lives 2 blocks up the road from me.
Right.
So he'd be like doing like walks. He'd take his daily constitution, if you will, and I'd run into him. So if I ever had any questions or any problems, it was not a deal to like a big deal. But now he's closing at the end of the year, and like the closest office is in like Tunkhannock, maybe. Oof. So but to have that kind of service, if that makes any sense, like the service was amazing. And now I know we're just going to be numbers and an account. You know what I mean? Like anything that goes wrong. Like literally I could drive up to Dunmore and ask questions and he'd be, the guy's name was Jimmy. He'd be fine with it. He'd be like, come in the office, whatever you have, you're here, you know, like you're one of my customers this long. But it bugs me because like, just say, I know I could take, you know, like pay electronically or whatever, but I would just run up. Like if I was on an errand, I would literally go into his office and like slap the cash down with the whatever it is, like that came in the mail, the bill, and it would be like, oh, it's taken care of. I get a printed out. He'd print me out a receipt or whatever. So like I was still dropping cash off for my father because my father's like, here's the money. Go up to Dunmore and pay Jimmy. And I'm like, I'm not driving to Tunkhannock to do that. And I doubt they'll even take it. He would just put it in his account, I guess, the business account, and then like sweep it, he would say. So I don't know if that's even going to be a thing. Like if, I mean, I don't know if you're joking, like, but they always got paid, if that makes any sense. So
I'm going to tread lightly here. Oh, and I could tread a little less lightly because you said one of the key words, right?
Right.
As is my previous understanding.
Okay.
The agency sweep process is one of the most hated and one of the most frowned upon ways of processing payments at the higher end of the insurance level, right?
Okay.
You know, obviously you said Jimmy's a nice guy. He's been in the family 40 plus years and all those sort of things. But, you know, Jimmy gets up there in age and you might come and drop that cash off for him, and it's for the policy, and then you and Jimmy get chatting about, you know, lightly cooked dough and other things, and then all of a sudden Jimmy's got a pile of money on his desk and he forgets what it's there for. I'll figure it out eventually. Who was just here? I don't remember. And then there's fees involved, and then there's payments that get posted late. Because a lot of time, from my understanding, indirectly, that a lot of times those older agents were not on top of you dropping off money on a Monday and them sweeping it on a Monday.
Right.
I'll wait till the end of the week. You know what? I'll wait till like 3 or 4 more people come in, and then I'll sweep it through, right?
Right. I don't know if that's the exact term, because I know...
No, it is the exact term.
And he would
not that I know.
Right. Right. And he would always say, like, because I would bring in a check.
Yeah.
And my father would write a check. He's like, I don't have the cash. Take this right up. So we could give it to him. the bill's due today. I forgot. Do you know what I mean? Like, and my father doesn't have access to the internet, so it's like, just take this up and give it to him, and we're in under the wire. And then he'd say, like, I'm sweeping this with the cash. I don't remember him saying that, but he was always on top of it. Like I said,
good.
We always got the receipt, because if I pay in cash, I get a receipt for anything.
Don't mean nothing.
And
receipt means you gave it to the guy.
Right.
Don't mean the guy gave it to the company. You know,
I don't give a shit. But he never had any problems, and I would always talk when I came in, and he'd say, like how many customers do you? He goes, I still have a lot that come in and pay in cash, and I mean, I don't think he. Yeah, probably there was mistakes made over time, but I don't see him as the type that was fucking it up.
I'm not saying him.
Right.
I'm just saying I've heard from experience that it happens. But it's interesting that he's not like, because, you said that it was the family before him that had it,
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's no one in his family that got into the business to take that over, so it's getting...
No.
That stinks.
Right, but like I said, it's not his business. He's an agent for this company. It's called Sealy Insurance.
Okay.
And I don't know where the next, like I said, I think it's Tuncana. It doesn't matter. It's nowhere near. But he was their agent in this area.
Gotcha.
And the father was the agent before him. It's not like it's Jimmy's Insurance. You know what I mean?
But like Jimmy doesn't have someone that's just going to continue the Sealy business.
Right. He rents the office, and it's funny because he has an old couple. Like anytime I go in, there's an old couple that lives above him because there's apartments above it, and they are the old couple that both are deaf, apparently, but scream at each other, not just because they're deaf, but because they hate each other.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like, did you get my like mustard from the store? And, like, this is shit that I'd be hearing downstairs, and I'd be laughing. So I think he wants to get out of that, and like that's just be a place that's gone. Like somebody will rent it now. So there's no legacy there. I wish he had a son, because I'd still be paying, and I'd be driving up and paying in cash.
Yeah.
And on a food note, it was right next to the Dunmore Candy Kitchen.
Oh, okay.
So like literally around the corner. So I would park there, and then I'd go up and I'd get like occasionally, because I would go and pay like my auto, my home, my father's auto and home, and like the various properties and stuff. So I'd be there a lot over the course of the year, and I'd go in and I'd be like, so maybe my health will be a little bit better because I won't be in the candy kitchen anymore.
Well, maybe you'll find a new place that's next to a candy place, or like a donut shop, or something. But
like I said, we're keeping the same insurances. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just that. And on another note is to get you caught up on something. Before I went away to New York, they've sorted out the bank sorted all my accounts and has it online that I can do shit now.
Oh, so, good.
Yeah, like what it dropped. I don't know if I mentioned it on the last After Dark After New York, but they had it. Because I was gone and there was nothing I could do, and I wasn't signing into any of the accounts while I was gone away, because I didn't want to know if they had fucked it up. Like, while I'm on my vacation, I don't want to know if it's worse or better. Don't care. I'm just going to put it out of my brain. And then I came back and everything worked, and I was able to pay myself through the Cinnabon account or like keep track of my like utility payments, whatever. I was very happy that once they figured out the problem, that it went smoothly. Knock on wood. It's been like a week now, and it's all good.
Good.
So,
but good luck with whatever you decide to do with the insurance. Of course, maybe I could refer you to someone who can make some suggestions off air or something.
Right.
So that's all that's been going on.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't have anything to report other than I'm finally finished with the first leg of my comic sorting business. So that's done. I just need a delivery guy. That's all I need.
You're going to offer your services to other people that are looking to have collections sorted and organized and so forth? Is this you letting our listenership know that that's something that you would be interested in pursuing further?
For the right price. and the right setup, yes.
Gotcha.
I need lots of room. That's what I need. The bigger the collection, the more room you need. So,
gotcha.
But
what if I lie and say I have just several small collections?
Oh, then I would have to charge you 6 times.
Okay.
I haven't worked out my billing, so this was a test run. So, right. And then there's like overhead and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Yeah. So the only thing that's been going on here is the project in regards to getting our bathroom redone is almost finally complete.
Oh, I was going to say, I figured that would have been done already.
No. So everything that was going on over the summer with April's father's passing,
right,
that kind of put a damper on the time that we had to do a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the main things that we ran into an issue with was getting time for my brother to come down, because the hot water shut off for the sink in the vanity was completely stripped.
So it wouldn't shut off right under the sink.
Correct. And he'd have to shut off the entire water for the whole house,
mm-hmm.
which is fine. But then unless we were getting everything done right at that moment, then we're going to be without water while that is being done. So he had to come in, replace that part so that we could do the water shut off right at the sink level.
Mm-hmm.
Once he was able to come down and do that, we were able to get everything else done, which was completely rip out and dismantle the vanity and sink that were there,
mm-hmm.
plus the mirror and vanity that were built into the wall. Rip that out and then repair the holes in the wall, because it was like a mirror in the middle and then the two sides swung out and they had things built into the wall. Well, we ripped that out, got to fill in the wall.
So he just came one day, shut the water off really quick, and put a new shut off under the sink, and then you were good to go?
Yeah, and while he was here, so we had been sitting on... So when we bought this house back in 2005, it was part of an estate sale. It had a washer and dryer in already, and they were good. They were Whirlpool. They were old at the time. They were old 20 years ago, so they were old whatever. The washer went way sooner than the dryer did. Well, the dryer finally kicked the bucket 2 weeks ago.
Gas or electric?
Gas.
Okay.
So the thing is, when my brother moved from here, Pennsylvania, to Texas, he didn't want to take all of his old appliances with him, so we got them. We got a newer fridge and a newer washer and dryer
mm-hmm.
that had been sitting in my basement. The washer we hooked up immediately, but I didn't trust myself with doing the gas switchover.
No, right.
Right. So my brother, that's his business. So I'm like, hey, while you're here, could you do this?
Mm-hmm.
And he did. So we went a couple of weeks without having a dryer, which is no big deal. You hang clothes up, whatever. But it was something that prior to that was a cheap fix for me,
mm-hmm.
where it's I could take the panel off the back, I could grease up the drum in the back, that sort of thing, when it would start squeaking.
Right.
But for a while it was just not getting hot.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have you come over and grease up my drum, because mine's squeaking now and I don't know what to do.
All right. I could do that.
I kind of have to see. The one thing I'm worried about is taking it away from the wall, because I have a hard pipe for the vent. So when you take it off, it's not the flex ones are easier to get back on, because you can kind of put it on and then slide the dryer back.
Mm-hmm.
The hard pipe, because it goes out the hole in the wall. It's this is going to be a clusterfuck if I do it,
So when you say a hard pipe, you mean
the accordion hoses? It's not one of those. It's a solid piece of tin-ish stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
that's not as hard to do as you think.
Okay.
Just as long as everything else is shut off, you could do it. Just as an example, that's the type of pipe that we have for the vent.
Right.
And when my brother switched the stuff out from the old dryer to the new dryer, the difference in height of where it hits on the
mm-hmm.
new dryer versus the old dryer was literally a centimeter.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to go and get a whole new piece to put in the middle there so the two parts would connect, if that makes any sense.
No, I understand what you mean. It's not the same height and time to either cut or add, you know?
Right, but he was literally laughing. He goes, it's like literally a centimeter. It's like that much. Like you could fit a piece of paper through it.
Right, so he had to go up a centimeter or down?
Up.
I would have just put I would have got a centimeter thick plywood and put it under the fucking dryer.
Well, that's what I suggested. He's like, no, it's no big deal. So
right, if that was me, because I don't have the talent, that's what would have happened.
Right, and then obviously once that was done, we had to go and get the drywall. We had to go get the shit to cut it. We had to,
Mm-hmm. Though what's lucky about mine is I have gas in the house for everything, but my dryer's electric.
Oh, okay.
So like just pulling it away, I don't have to worry about any thing. And talking about changing like appliances, I've changed my gas stove, and I've in the apartments that we've had or the houses, I've changed the gas line and stuff like that. As long as you tighten it good, you're pretty good. And then you just take a match and test it. That's all.
So he actually did a thing where he took like soap, I guess, like sudsy stuff.
Yep, and it'll bubble. It's the same thing they do for a tire if you have a puncture.
Yeah.
I know a few tricks, Joe.
Yeah, because he comes over and he's like halfway through and he's like, I'm going to need you to stay down here to smell. I'm a little stuffed up and I can't tell if it's leaking or not. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Well, it happens. Allergies, Joe.
But it's one of those things. So, like, we were moving this weekend and doing that sort of thing. And we were going to put the new sink and vanity and all that shit in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother said, he goes, if you guys could live without a sink in the bathroom for a week, he goes, I will come down on Friday and do it for you, only because... He's like, I get DIY and I get doing it yourself and I get that's an easy job. He goes, but you don't know how many jobs I've had to go on because the people who DIY'd it themselves miss something.
Yep.
And then it fucks everything else up. He goes, let me come in. Let me make sure the hoses are done correctly. Make sure all the fastens are done. Make sure you got all the right everything.
Yep.
So that 6 months from now, you guys do it, it's working fine, and then all of a sudden something goes.
Right, you have water everywhere now.
Yeah.
I want to ask this question. So he came in, he shut the water off, and he put a new shutoff valve underneath the sink. So what kind of shutoffs did you have under there? Did you have the wheel handle or the ball valves?
Wheel.
Okay, so when he replaced it, what did he do? Because you could replace the packing on those, or did he just put a whole new thing on it?
He put a whole new thing on both.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yeah,
because if you're changing,
he said I'm not going to have you have one for the hot and one for the cold that's like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right here, and what he put in was like quarter turn ones.
Yep. So they're still wheel though, not the ball valve.
It's almost like a switch, it looks like. I could send you a picture of it if that matters.
Yeah, I'm very interested because I was doing a lot of self-plumbing when we had to get new tenants in, like the easy stuff. Do you know what I mean?
But he came in, he said, like, as though it was like a known thing, that instead of a wheel or a valve or anything else, it's just a quarter turn. It's literally left is on, or like left is off, right is on, and that's it.
Okay. Cool. Because like I said, I'm accustomed to certain things that I like. So
yeah.
And we ended up having one that, like, for the dryer or the washer in the washroom at one of the houses. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's like and it had the red and the blue and stuff like that, and all it was a quarter turn. But I'm thinking like the kind that it goes on the pipe and you turn it like with a handle. That to me is the ball valve. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not a little switch.
Right. Like I said, it's the best way that I could describe it is a switch.
Gotcha.
Like I said, when we're done here and everything's uploaded and everything, I could snap a picture real quick and show you what I mean.
Oh, I thought you just had a picture of the park because maybe your brother showed you or something that you had available. I'm like, don't get up and take a picture. I'm just genuinely curious because I learned a lot, good and bad, trying to do stuff on my own for the houses. You know what I mean? Like, and then I had to have my uncle come over a couple of times. I was like, I can't seem, this keeps dripping. Why? And he's like, oh, like you didn't do I have trouble whenever I do stuff. I have somebody come over because the plumber's tape aggravates the shit out of me. Because either like you put too much or you don't put enough, and if you put too much, you can crack fittings and stuff like that. I'm like, and every time I did it, like the tape just, and you got to go with the threads or against the threads. I'm like, too much knowledge. You know what? I know how to sort a comic collection. That's my one gift. Plumbing is not it.
So, going back to, and we'll wrap things up here, is, going back to your insurance people where it was like the family, it was his father, then whatever. But like, I come from like third generation pipe fitters, so I know just enough to be dangerous.
You're a son of a pipe fitter.
That's right. They don't like to be called plumbers. This pipe fitter sounds a little bit more fancy,
Right. Pipe fitters don't have pipe fitters crack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Plumbers crack.
So my brother doesn't use the tape. He hates the tape too, but because he's a professional, he has like a putty that he uses.
Right. He has plumber goo.
Yes. So yeah, that's it. I don't know. Maybe you're listening to this early because you're like Patreon, patreon.com/longboxheroes. We appreciate that. Go sign up. By the time this comes out, it'll be the beginning of a new month. We talked about it all that time ago, and this will be the last time I mention it. If you're going to sign up for the Patreon for the first time, don't do it through your app if you're using an Apple device.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
Yeah, that's a thing that I forgot about.
That rolls out on November 1st. That's when that goes into to place. So, if you're already an existing person, it doesn't affect you. I know people got all bent out of shape about it, but that was one of those things that I had a note for myself. I'm like, hey, don't forget to mention that when the November 1st episode comes out. After this, you're on your own. But yeah, so we'll the schedule for the Patreon shows got a little screwed up. We did, we still do 2 bonus shows a month, and there still will be 2 bonus shows here in November. It's just because we recorded the Comic Book Oddities Time Cop one with Adam for Ad Odds and Porch Talk so early, it feels like it's been forever since we've done a Patreon show, which it has.
Yep.
Which it has been, and it's really screwing me up. But we'll have 2 shows for November, of course. Comic Book Oddities, which is going to be Supergirl, and then Previewing the Past, of course, which will be November 1994, which I'm looking forward to. And then with the December one is when we're going to officially announce what we're going to be doing for Todd and Joe Have Issues for 2025, which is going to give us time to figure out the reading order of that.
Right.
Yes. So that might be a Todd job.
Well, I got no problem with that.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, thank you very much for listening, your support, and your everything else. This was Longbox Heroes After Dark 519, and we'll see y'all next time.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.